Hi, I am on my way to do 2 Amazon returns, and I'm going to do them at Kohl's because Dollar Tree is a couple doors down. I've went to see my 2 little grandsons the last 2 Wednesdays in the morning, and it's been a blast. The first Wednesday I brought some bird feathers over and my favorite rock, which used to be in a fish aquarium, and it's got really pretty colors. It's about so big, and they're 3 and almost 5, so I mean this was interesting to them, and I think I talked about that in another video. I bought 2 pet rocks. One was a snail and one was a frog, and I showed those at the beginning of my closet cleaning video, and they came with these non-toxic paints, and we sat on the patio on a drop cloth and painted. They painted and we visited, and they had a great time. So I'm on a mission to find something crafty for them to do next Wednesday. The oldest one really likes bugs. He doesn't mind holding them, carrying them in his pocket. He just loves bugs. And the younger one, that's 3, really likes to observe what his older brother is doing. I don't think that he really wants to touch the bugs or interact with them, but he wants to see what's going on. So I am going to Dollar Tree to look for some pool noodles, and I'm going to pre-cut them probably 6 or 8 inches long, and I know I'm going to get some pipe cleaners and some googly eyes, and I need to figure out something I can use for legs / feet. I want them to make some bugs, and I think that would really be fun. I don't know whether I want to cut them like short-ish and hot glue 2 of them together, or maybe get 3 or 4 colors and put it in sections and bring it over like that, because I don't want to use anything sharp with them or anything hot like the hot glue. I'll do that at home first, and I can pre-poke or drill holes for like something that, like a pipe cleaner that may not penetrate the pool noodle very easily, for little fingers, or old fingers, let's be real. Anyway, I'm excited because I want to do kind of back to the basics, crafty type things with these boys. Another one I thought about was getting some tack board, just a white piece of tack board, and getting different shapes of pasta, and I have to find out how I can dye them or if I have to paint them. But remember when we were in school, or our kids were in school, and we did like the macaroni art? I think that would be fun too. They're very young, so you know the project has to be 15 or 20 minutes long, but it brings them joy and it brings me joy, and I'm hoping to create a memory, and I think that's going to happen. I have this bag, it's blue, and it says Trader Joe's on it. And the first Wednesday I went over, I had my feather collection and my rock in there, and the boys saw the bag, and I told them what was in the bag was for them. So when I came back yesterday, I had the same blue bag, and the littlest one like crawled across the couch, and he put his fingers on the edge of the bag, and I said, "Are you peeking in my bag?" And he immediately stopped, and I said, "It's okay, what's in there is for you." And I really like that, so I want to continue to use that same bag so they know that when Grammy comes, she's got the blue bag and something fun is in there for us to do. I'm on my second trip out of the house because the first time I left, I realized I didn't have my phone, and I was like, oh, can I just go ahead and do this trip without my phone? It'll be fine. And then I started thinking, oh, what if I get a flat tire? What if my husband tries to get a hold of me and he gets concerned because I'm not answering? It's going to be best just to go back and get the phone. So I did, left the car running, ran in the house, grabbed my phone, and as I'm getting in the car, I see the Amazon returns. And I realized I would have gotten all the way to Kohl's and I would have had no way to do my Amazon returns anyway. Thank goodness I decided to go back. I'm getting ready to park here between Kohl's and Dollar Tree to go in for the returns first. And I remembered something that a man I used to work with said after he had grandchildren, years before I had mine. And he said, being a grandfather is the greatest thing in the world. He goes, if I could have skipped having my own kids and went straight to the grandkids, that's what I would have done. Anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. You don't get the grandkids if you skip your own. But that's how precious they are. And I'm still thinking about making these bugs. And you know what I think would make great legs? Is those little like olive picks that you put in drinks. And I bet Dollar Tree has those. So I'll see you inside. Lots of people in Dollar Tree, and my sister Vicky called me. And she's a jabberjaw as much as I am. And it got me to thinking, if we lived closer, she lives in Oregon, I live in Texas, and we did videos together, it would be hysterical because the whole thing would be laughing. Anyway, I enjoyed talking to her, but between her calling and the store being busy, I didn't record inside there. But I did find the noodles. Whoop! I got a green and a blue, and they're kind of narrow-ish, which I like. So I think I'm going to slice them and alternate green and blue and hot glue them together before I bring them over to the boys. I got some pipe cleaners in different colors. They're called Chanel stems. So I'm going to put them around my finger and coil them for the antennas before I bring them over to the boys. And I bought, where are they? If they're not in here, I'm going to have to go back in. There they are. These little green beads, the holes are large enough. I'm going to be able to put the pipe cleaner up through there for a little ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. You know what I mean, on the end of their antenna. I got the googly eyes, which I got the multicolor just because and size. I figure the boys might put one small eye, one big eye, and they may not even be the same color. So that's going to be that much more fun. This was the only thing of picks I could find, and they are called heart picks. So I think this will work for legs. I mean, I like the multicolors. They're probably a little bit too long, but we'll work with what we have. And I got these little cups, which are like, what are they called? They're called tumblers, but where I can put like the eyes in one and the legs in another, and so they can reach in and get them, so we're not fussing with the packages. And then I got these little guys. They're called a squish toy, and they just feel good in your hands. So I got them each one of these. This says, what a wonderful world. And I thought that was cute to stick in the backyard. It's heavy like it's a real rock, but it's not a real rock. So I think now I'm going to head to Walmart and look through their craft section, because even if I decide not to use some of this because I find something I like better, I'll hold on to it because we're going to do more crafts. It'll get used even if it's not right away. So let me check back in a bit. Okay, I'm back from Hobby Lobby and Walmart. I was really disappointed. I found nothing at Hobby Lobby. I haven't looked for stuff like this for a long time. Perhaps Michael's would have been a better choice. So I did go on to Walmart, and I'll show you what I got there, which was very little. I did pick up another hot glue gun because I'm not sure where mine is. And this one has a little flat spot to be able to stand it up. I did get some glue for the kids to use, and I got these assorted pom-poms. I was looking for something a little flatter to make spots, but this was as close as I could find without like getting Velcro, which I really didn't want, like Velcro buttons or pieces of wood, because you can't really mold them around the roundness of it. So the next step is to start cutting the water noodles into strips. Okay, I have the pool noodles and I'm ready to start cutting them. I'm thinking about 6 sections. Sections should be enough for a caterpillar. And I thought I knew where a hacksaw was. Apparently I don't. So we're going to try this bread knife. I think I want to do the sections. You don't have to be all perfectly even. Oh, that's really nice. That's really easy. Okay. And that's a fairly smooth cut. I don't even know if you can use hot glue on whatever this material is. We're going to find out. And I was trying to think about the head. If I should cut an extra piece and then cut it in half so I can give like a rounded head. But let's not get ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and try to glue some of these together. And I know that the cuts are not perfect, as you can see, but that's just gonna add a little more character. That's gonna be cute. It's not gonna be perfectly straight. When I was in the stores, I was thinking of all of the projects I can do with these boys, because when my kids were little, we did a lot of at-home parties. And I remember one year we did t-shirt painting. And I had white t-shirts and a bunch of paints, and we had old bed sheets on the tables. You know, had the kitchen table and a card table. And all the kids painted whatever they wanted to on there. The older ones painted their names. The younger ones, you know, drew flowers or houses or whatever. And then we took a picture with everybody before we had digital, you know, where you could see the picture right away. And then the parents would get a picture of their child with the t-shirt they made. And it was so much fun. We made leather wallets one year. The year of the hockey party was the most near failure that worked out perfectly. I didn't think to call ahead to the skating rink to see if they would be open to bring a bunch of, they must have been about 10 or 11 years old, bring a bunch of boys on rollerblades to just like make our own birthday party. And when we got there, the sign said, everybody in my band, the sign said closed for lessons. And I was like, oh no. So Toys R Us was open at that time. So off we went to Toys R Us, and I got some street hockey goals. I got some orange cones, and we lived not on a cul-de-sac, but we lived on the corner. And the house that we played at is in my little home tour of Texas, and it was the one I lived in from 91 to 96. So the kids, everybody already had rollerblades, so we got all the stuff, the hockey sticks, the puck, and the goals. Went back home and just simply threw the party together right there. Now I had the cake and food and all that because I was taking it to the skating rink, so that part was worked out. oh my goodness, those boys had so much fun. Parents were coming to pick them up and they were not ready to leave, and parents stayed and visited. It was a really, really fun memory to make. One caterpillar is done and that glue is not sticking on the last one. Maybe I didn't hold it long enough. Let's see, no, they look like, they feel like they're gonna stay. That's so cute. I like crafty things. I don't like crafty things that I'm necessarily going to use for myself. I like the kid craft things that you don't have to worry about it actually turning out. It can be not straight, not the right color, because kids love all that kind of stuff. They're just grateful to have you doing a craft with them. Kind of the messier it is, the more they like it. I wish I could remember some of the stuff I saw in the store that was like, oh yeah, we could do that. Oh yeah, we could do that. I know we could do, like, we could make a seashore. Like, I made a cake one time that had an ocean on it because my aunt was a professional cake maker. I don't know what that's called. She did weddings and other things. She made beautiful cakes, and the summer I was 15, she taught me some of her skills, and I learned how to, you know, make the cakes and frost them and make a very entry-level border around the top and the bottom, and they were cute. But I made a beach scene, and I can't remember what I made the lawn chairs out of, maybe like toothpicks, and then I used fruit striped gum for the lawn chair, like the towel on the lawn chair. Super cute stuff. These kids are not quite old enough to have, you know, to work with the tiny, tiny stuff like that yet, like toothpicks and so on. But, and they're boys, maybe they don't want to decorate cakes, but you know what? Maybe they do. So we'll just have to wait and see. But there's so many things that we can do together to make a memory, and oh, so exciting. I got one more piece to glue on this second caterpillar, and then I'm going to see if I can make the head. Hey, maybe I could cut a long strip and make a tail. Caterpillars don't have tails, but this one can have a tail. We can call it the caterpillar with a tail. Okay, so should the face be green or should it be blue? Should be opposite whatever the color is on the end. So let's go with green, and let's do it about twice as wide as, that's not one to stay on that last one. Twice as wide as, so that it'll cover the whole end of it. Not down anymore. Like, I was thinking of rounding these edges some, but I don't know if that's really necessary. I don't think the kids are going to care. But then we can put the antennas either here, or we can put them back here, and then we could put the eyes on here. So this will work. I'll put a green head on them, and then I will put a blue tail. We're just gonna create our own animal. We're gonna bring it into existence. Well, maybe some of them do have tails. I don't know. Boy, I am glad I got some glue sticks. I'm going through the glue. Let me get a tail going. Let's get a blue tail. I think about half of the length of the body. This long. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. The dog heard that. Look at that, and he came in here. What's cute? What's cuter than me? Absolutely nothing. You're the cutest. I know you were supposed to eat 5 minutes ago. We're running late today. Which one did I put in there? I think it was this one. So cute. What I was gonna do, those pipe cleaners I bought, I was gonna wrap them around a finger or a pencil and get them kind of coiled, and then put the little bead on the end and then stick them through the styrofoam. I think it's gonna be cute. Well, I guess I'll stop it here because I don't need to go on making kids crafts all by myself. There's no kid here for the excuse to make them. I'm gonna have to wait till next week. Thanks for being here. I look forward to next time. Bye.